Ladies and gentlemen, it's Australia Day at the Newcastle International Motordrome, the Winfield Newcastle Motordrome. Great day. Proud to be an Aussie today and proud to welcome you along to the Complete Fuel Supplies third Super Sedan test. You couldn't be anything else but an Aussie on Australia Day, could you? Proud to be wearing my Go Aussie hat with my Aussie flag because the Australians are protecting a 2-0 victory in the series that's been conducted so far. We're getting right to the end of the series and we're hoping, if you're an Aussie supporter, that the Australians can make it 3-0. Let's introduce the guys who'll be representing the Aussies tonight. Right down the bottom end, the guy who did it all for us last time, Don McEwen. Don, come on over this way. My hat might have me taking off at 1,000,000 miles an hour. You're the guy that's going to do 1,000,000 miles an hour tonight. Welcome back.
Thanks, Ross.
Big test?
Yeah, we certainly are. We've done a few adjustments to the car and had a couple of weeks off, so nice and rested, so we'll tonight.
Hang on, we've got a bit of a problem here. I'll turn this way. A bit of a whipping for the Yanks tonight. You're all fresh and set and ready to go, and you performed super well.
Yeah, it certainly is, Ross. With us drivers, the 4 drivers in the team.
Yeah, I better take my hat off. It might be interfering. Might have a bit of a problem. We've got to come up this way a bit, apparently. Come up here, Don. We'll make things right. Okay, let's get back to this car.
Well, we've been racing together for this our 3rd test match together as a team, so we're going to fire a bit better than what we usually do.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, Don McEwen. Now, this guy, well, who knows what he's going to be up to. Some mayhem, I would reckon. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Brewer. Gee, your hat looks just about as suave as mine. How are you feeling tonight?
Mate, see that badge there? I want the Yanks to have a look at that one.
I'll read the badge, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes trouble.
But, no, Ross, we've got a good team here, but I think if you recall back to last year, we had one of the greatest drivers, in my opinion, in our team then, and I'd certainly give up my position to... if he could sort of drive again this season.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it'd be great, but let's get down to make it a 3-0 victory tonight, eh?
Yep, I certainly will be trying that.
Okay, good luck. Ladies and gentlemen, in the number 3 car tonight, Ron Pine. Ron, welcome back to the Test Match Arena. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, mate. I'm surrounded by a couple of legends here, so my job tonight is probably to fill in a few of the points down towards the back, and I'll just be trying my hardest. But if Don and John and Bob can do what they've done in the first 2, these guys haven't got a hope.
Okay, and here's the guy who'll lead the way tonight, John Pine. The Aussie captain on Australia Day.
Yeah, Ross, and I was looking in your hat and forgot to take mine off the national anthem, so I'll have to be a bit excused for that. But no, I think it's going to be a good test tonight. I don't think anybody can afford to lose any points tonight. I think we're all got to get out there and get a point at least. Let the Americans get the last position. So I think 1 point like last time is going to make it. I hope it comes down to the wire like that because, holy Christ, I've never raced so hard with Charlie for many, many years. It was one of those things, 4 laps at that speed, so close and never touched. And I think the crowd got what they deserved and I felt good and I spoke to Charlie later. And if we can do that again tonight and race the whole series like that all night, I think I'll be impressed, and I think so will the crowd, and that's why they're back tonight, and just hope that we can take the win and race just the same as last time.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's the Americans. We want to introduce these guys. Their captain tonight, driving the number 1, John Soares. John, come on over, because you've got a tough task here. We've got Australia Day. We're all patriotic Australians on this day today. And here at Newcastle, we're protecting a 2-0 advantage. Gee, you've got it stacked up against you.
Well, it's always tough. Auto racing is a sport that you never know how it's going to turn out. Sometimes, even if you're doing your best, you get beat. So we're come out tonight to win. We haven't been beat since we left here. And we've been on a roll, and the car woes have left us, and we haven't had any problem with the cars. And let's hope there's not a jinx on us here. And if we can keep them all running tonight, I think everybody's going to see a really good show.
John, I understand that the number 1 car, which for the fans who were here for the first 2 tests was just not running, I understand it is now hot.
Well, we've been doing real good. I've won at least 2 or 3 heats every night, and we've got it sorted out. It runs pretty good. In fact, a lot of the gentlemen don't really believe it's got a 6-cylinder in it.
Okay, good luck tonight. We've got a lot of pressure on you guys. In the number 2 car, he did so very well in the last couple of tests. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome him back, Charlie Schwartz. Charlie, you're under a lot of pressure in the last 2 test matches because of all the problems you were having. Things seem to be running right in the camp now.
Well, they have been going. You know, we've had 5 of them each since we were here, and we've won all 5 of those, but that don't mean, you know, that you're going to come back and win this one as far as that goes. But, you know, we got all 4 cars running, and they have been staying together, so if they all 4 stay together tonight, you know, it should be a little different than it has been the other 2 times.
All right, good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in the number 3 car, Clint Smith. Welcome him back to the Newcastle International Motordrome. This guy didn't get much of an opportunity because this was one of the cars that suffered pretty badly in the first 2 tests. Clint, welcome back, and you'll be looking for a much improved performance tonight.
Yeah, we were just getting started out last time we was here, and the cars give us a little trouble, but we done worked everything out, and it'll be a good day to win on Australian Day.
Been happy with your form leading up to this test match tonight?
Yeah, we've been top points every night, you know, scoring with Scott and Charlie and John, all of us running good, and we're just going to keep the performance going tonight. We've won the last 6 in a row, and we're going to make it 7 tonight, I hope.
All right, and this will be your last run before you head back to the States.
Yeah, I don't know if it is or not. We're just trying to get all we can in.
Get it sorted out. Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, the other guy, boy, has he been the most impressive driver we've seen here for some time. Scott Blomqvist, and he'll drive the number 4 car tonight. Scott, welcome back.
We're looking forward to running tonight. You know, we've got a slow start here at this place, and you know, we've got a lot to make up tonight, so I think it'll be a real good show tonight.
You were a bit disappointed last time because you came so close, and then you pointed out it was because of the car problem, and I suppose when you look at the stats, that's the way it was.
Well, you know, that did happen to some degree, but you know, you got to look at these guys. They're running real good, and this is the best team we've been up against, and you know, we did have some bad luck there at the start, but the other teams that we've run against haven't been quite as good as this team. This is the best one I've seen. So you know, it's going to be on tonight. Whether we have anything happen or not, it's going to be tough.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Now, if I can get John. John, would you come back over and we'll make the toss of the coin? Get him to come over, Charlie, and we'll toss this coin. The Aussie dollar. John, will get you to make the toss. We'll get John to do the call. We're using the gold Aussie dollar on Australia Day, but we're going to give our visitors the opportunity to have the call of the coin.
Oh, kangaroo, I guess.
That's a tail. And, John, it's a head. So the Australians have won the toss in the Complete Fuel Supplies 3rd Super Sedan Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, wish all the guys the very, very best of luck as we settle down for this Super Sedan test match on Australia Day. Australia taking on the United States, plus, Joel, an absolutely magnificent support card. How are you? The first of our race cards tonight, the Apollo Batteries Speed Car race number 1. In pole position, the 53 of Glenn Stewart. And on the outside, the 86 of Adrian Marr. Doesn't go too badly here at the Motordrome either, and perhaps with a front row draw, he might be very hard to catch, but we'll be looking back in the field for our interstate drivers from South Australia, Victoria and Queensland, along with Rod Bowen and Gary Pollock. They're away, and the 53 car of Glenn Stewart has grabbed the lead first up. Down on the low line, the South Australia 17 Brett Squires has moved very quickly into second place. Adrian Marr dropped back to third. Here's Rod Bowen making his move in the black 75 car. Keep an eye on the rocket. He comes up into fourth place at the moment, up on the outside of Adrian Marr. He's taking a high line at the moment. It seems to be working for him as well. He's up on the high on the outside of Adrian Marr. Rod Bowen and Adrian Marr fighting for turn 3-4. Race leader at the moment, Glenn Stewart. Then comes the South Australian Brett Squires. Adrian Marr and Rod Bowen. They're still racing side by side. Now Rod Bowen gets a little better as he goes up on the outside and moves into a clear third. Tries to dive up on the inside of the South Australian Squires as they come down main straightaway. So Bowen is showing that he's got all the track. First of all, he did an outside pass on Adrian Marr, and now he's pulled an inside pass on Brett Squires. So Rod Bowen races up into second place behind race leader Glenn Stewart. starting to blow a little smoke, Glenn Stewart. Rod Bowen will like the looks of that because he says, well, that'll give me a little bit of a chance to get closer because obviously he's not running right on song. But just the same, Glenn Stewart proving hard to run down. Now Bowen starts to make inroads on him. He's getting within striking distance and he's still got 3 laps to go. Race leader Glenn Stewart. Here's Rod Bowen trying to get to him now as they come out of turn 2, approach turn 3. Rod Bowen trying for the low line, I think, at the moment, and might get it coming down main straight away. Yes, he does. Rod Bowen goes through to the lead. This has been a very impressive... Oh, Glenn Stewart's gone. He's gone. The car locked up on him. It was puffing smoke, and it looked as if he was going to be in trouble, and he didn't quite make it. The engine is just locked up on him. It's seized, and Rod Bowen will now come back to the South Australian driver Brett Squires. Adrian Marr, the Queenslander Barry Valentino is holding down 4th place. The 17 of Brett Morris is up there with them. Victoria 3, Peter Gent, he's dropped back a bit in the field. And the car 40 of Phil Chilton's starting to blow some smoke as well. Car 18 of Danny Hart is second last on the grid. And on the tail of the grid at the moment is driver number 87, and that's Jeff Bowie. This is the opening heat in our Apollo Batteries Speed Car Invitation, the division to be run over 2 heats. And great to have so many interstate visitors with us tonight. We love to see interstate drivers here at the Motordrome. We're pretty proud of our track, and we hope that they enjoy their stay. We hope it's a successful night. Unfortunately, not everyone can win. The yellow lights are out. Now that's an indication that there is a start imminent. And if the steward is happy that everyone's staying in a nice line when they get to that witch's hat, he'll most likely give them the go. Let's see what's going to happen. Yes, he does give them the go. It's the all clear. Everybody got by A-OK, and a 75 of Rod Bowen. Well, he just bounced straight out to the lead, and he leads out still from the South Australian Brett Squires. Adrian Marr, the Queenslander Barry Valentino getting hooked up on the windrow, and it can be costly when you do that because you can lose some time. Now here's Brett Squires, a South Australian, coming under some attack from Adrian Marr at the moment. Marr trying to move up on the inside of Brett Squires. And the Queenslander and the Victorian having a battle there too, Barry Valentino and Peter Gent. But coming into main straight away, 1 more lap to go, and it's all Rod Bowen. What an impressive start of the night for him. Squires is running second. Now Valentino, the Queenslander, has worked his way through to 3rd past Adrian Marr, and Peter Gent, the Victorian, in 5th place. But it's down to take a checkered flag. That's a super win. Great way to start the night, the 75 Rod Bowen. The South Australian Brett Squires was 2nd. The Queenslander Barry Valentino was 3rd. Adrian Marr was 4th. And then the Victorian Peter Gent was 5th. Now, there was no time taken on the race because of the race stoppage with a couple of laps to go. But just the same, a super drive by Rod Bowen to start off the night with a great win. Ladies and gentlemen, the opening race winner, Rocket Rod Bowen. Cars have grouped up for the second heat of speed car competition. Pole sitter is 52 Steve Pollock. Gary Lannery on the outside of the front row. He'll go very hard into the first corner to try and snatch the lead from Pollock. Norm Jackson and Alan Day. Alan Day, a very strong runner in this division, particularly here at the Motordrome. He does go well. We're interested to see the American. Keep an eye on him. He's in the yellow car number 2. That's John Coffer, second last night in the Canberra Classic, and he'll be determined to go one better here at the Motordrome tonight. Very strong competition, speed car racing in the United States. Just to be a peddler in the United States, you're doing pretty well to get a start. So I'll be very anxious to see how well he goes. coming into main straight away. They are racing in race number 2 for the Speedcars and the 52 car of Steve Pollock, all getting up on the windrow. And as I said, it can get you into trouble, that windrow. It won't let you steer properly. Tends to throw you sideways a little bit. And you can notice Steve Pollock staying away from that windrow a little as he comes out of turn 3, 4. So Pollock the leader. Where's the move coming? It's coming from the American in the yellow car number 2, John Copper. He's moved up into 4th place, trying to track Alan Day through at the moment. In fact, he's getting up on the inside of Day, and he goes through to a very smooth 2nd place coming down main straight away. Oh, he is impressive, the American. Up into 2nd spot, past Gary Lannery. So too did Alan Day get past Gary Lannery, and also the Victorian Mark Brown. He's running strongly as well. So down main straightaway, we have a race on our hands with 5 laps to go. It's Steve Pollock, the leader. John Copper, the American. Look at Mark Brown, the Victorian, pulling some super inside passes on Alan Day. Oh, but Alan Day came straight back at him and said, tit for tat, thank you very much. And he moves back into 3rd place with the Victorian Mark Brown now having to fight at him on the outside. Go back to the race lead. Have a look at John Copper. Up on the inside he goes. Super smooth drive. This American's good. Down main straight away, the Yanks hit the front. Might be Australia Day, but it's certainly not in the speed cars at the moment. John Copper, the American, has hit the front. Steve Pollock in 2nd place. Then there's a gap back to Alan Day running in 3rd spot. 4th place is being held by Mark Brown, the Victorian. Then comes John Church. He's in 5th place with Norm Jackson running 6th. Down main straightaway, gee, it'll be anxious to have a look at the time that John Copper clocks in. He's been running very smoothly, really picking super line. Got great pass, didn't even get within cooey of anybody on the passing manoeuvres, kept well clear of them. And I tell you what, that's a very, very impressive drive. The American, John Copper, is 1st. 2nd place goes to the 52 of Steve Pollock, 74 Alan Day, Victoria 33 Mark Brown, and New South Wales 6 Terry King. I did call him John Church earlier, I apologise for that, Terry. So that was a very, very impressive win to the American John Copper. Did his last lap in 14.8 and an overall time of 2 minutes 5.717. 2 minutes 5.717. I'll just check with our timer. How many laps was that? 8 laps, right. Gee whiz, the 1 lap record's 15.7, so he's almost a second faster than the 1 lap time, but it will not stand unless you actually are attempting a 1 lap time here at the Motordrome. We do not take times during the course of the running of a race. So what a great start to the American John Copper. Did extremely well there, and a time of 2 minutes 7.717.
Then 3 on your program, the Cardiff Wreckers sponsored Street Stock Sedan Invitation. It's over 8 laps and over 2 heats. This is the first of their heats. And as Ross said, always a good turnout of numbers in the street stocks here at the Motordrome. Tonight's no exception, with Joanne Cotton 52 and Paul Flack in the 41 on pole position. The 38 car might be the one to watch. Jason Owen right on the 2nd row of the grid. On the outside of In Perkins in the 96. Yellow lights flash, ready for a start. They're away this time. Flack on the outside got the best of the start. Owen on the inside too, snuck up underneath Joanne Cotton too, who was a bit slow to react and moved into 2nd place. Perkins on the outside tried to go with him as well, but couldn't make it. He's dropped back to 5th place now, but here comes Morris in the 26. He'll be a danger too. All 2 cars going on the infield. Perkins was involved in that. But down they come to complete the first lap, and it's Flack in the 41 in front. Black flag goes to the 43 car of Ken Murray, so he'll take no further part in the race, lying in 4th spot at the moment, but he'll have to pull onto the infield. But down the back they go for the 2nd time, and Flack now will be put under pressure by the 26 of Morris. Morris just within striking distance. Finding conditions a little bit slippery with that little bit of moisture they put on the track, but Paul Flack coming to terms with the conditions very well indeed at the moment. 2nd place is Morris in the 26. You can forget about the 43 car. He's disqualified. Go back to the 94 of Harris in 4th place at the moment. It's actually 3rd. Jason Owen dropping back through the field. The 32 getting up on the inside of Bruce Murray. 5 laps to go for Flack, the race leader. Morris in second place. He doesn't seem to be getting any closer now. He does as they go into turn 1-2. He'll try the low line now. Flack drifted up a little bit. Gave him a bit of a look, but he backed off. There wasn't quite enough room for him to go through. Now he tries to dive on the inside into turn 3-4. Flack under pressure now. Only 4 laps left to run. Flack on the outside. Morris on the inside. Morris now looks like he might have the upper hand. He's got a bit too much power as they go down main straightaway, and he'll take up the running. Drifts out a little bit and carts Flack high, and now he's gone straight to the lead. Flack in second place in the 41 car. Third place a long way back to the 32 car driven by Bruce Johnson. Behind him, the 75 of Nathan Reed's done well to get up into 4th place with 3 to go, and Morris leads the way.
Very impressive performance by the 3rd place car, Bruce Johnson. He was right back on the grid at the start of the race. And although he's under a little bit of pressure from Nathan Reed in 4th place at the moment on the track, this has been a super drive by Johnson in the blue and white car number 32 to work his way into 3rd place from virtually the rear of that big grid of cars at the start of the race. Nathan Reed is right behind him and pressuring strongly, and then there's a bit of a break to Shane Carlson, the 25, who also was well back on the grid. So whilst we can't take anything away from the race leader, Gary Morris, he's driven well. There's been some good drives back in the pack. Coming down main straight away, 1 more lap left to go, and Gary Morris gets the white flag. Paul Flack holding down a clear second place. Here's the race. It's on in earnest for the minors. 32 Bruce Johnson running 3rd. 75 Nathan Reed is 4th. 61 David Cerrone gets through on the inside, and also getting up on the inside of Nathan Reed. Checkered flag time. The race winner is 26 Gary Morris. Second place goes to 41 Paul Flack. 3rd is the 32 of Bruce Johnson, then the 61 of David Cerrone. 10 Rod Ether. Gee, he really put in a spurt in the last lap. Then the 75 of Nathan Reed. 38 Jason Owen, and 25 Shane Carlson. They clocked in a time of 2 minutes 49.220, and a very good win to the 26 car of Gary Morris. He takes the Ford badge into the winner's circle. Gary Morris first, and Paul Flack finishing in second place in another Ford to make it to Quinella. The Freckers support the Street Stock Sedan invitation, and this is the second heat.
Heat 2, and Phil Moore seems to be in a bit of trouble there, not picking up his line. There'll be no start there.
No, they're holding the start. And Phil Moore seemed to have a problem. They've regrouped them again, but Phil Moore was the one who spoiled the start. For some reason, he Gerard Green has not seen the yellow light, and he's now raced up to the front of the car race. Phil Moore seemingly going okay now.
Yes, momentarily problem there for Phil Moore, but it all seems right now. Away they go. Good even start too. Peter Hopwood on the inside line got the most of it. The 46 was the car that quickly followed him through. That was Michael Bennett. The 92 car in a bit of trouble. Oh, he got sideways. Could have been a lot nastier as he went down the back straight, and that was the 92 of Bruce Jones who got in a mess. But back to the race lead, and it's Peter Hopwood in car number 7. He leads the way. Bennett in second place in the 46. Then comes Phil Moore in the blue Tirana in third place, being put under pressure by Gerard Green. Just behind them out of the battle at the moment is Paul Marculin in the 49 car. But out in front, the 70 of Hopwood leads away. He's been driving well over the last few meetings we've had here at the Motordrome, and he'll be happy to start off with a win in Heat 2 of the Carter Frecker Street Stock Sedan. Second place is Bennett in the 46 car. Then comes Gerard Green, who's got up into third place in front of Phil Moore. The 66 is the mover, and that's Maunder. He's moving up on the inside of Phil Moore now to try and get into 5th place. There's only 5 laps to go, and Hopwood leads away in car number 70.
Hopwood in front. The 46 car of Bennett is holding down second place. There's a gap back to Gerard Green, and then the guy who's making the dash to the front. That's all. He got hampered too badly, Rob Maunder. Gerard Green getting a bit wobbly, and Maunder lost a position there when Phil Moore was able to get past him because he left the racetrack. He will not be happy with that little incident, but I think the way he's driving, he should be able to make it up. Back in the front of the car race, Peter Hopwood, who seemingly was doing it all A-OK for a while, is now under pressure, and the guy putting the pressure on him is Michael Bennett. Peter Hopwood leads. Michael Bennett in second place. Long gap back to Gerard Green. Robert Maunder has again worked his way through to fourth, and Phil Moore's back to fifth. But back in the front of the car race, Peter Hopwood now has Bennett tapping right away at his back bumper. Oh, he drifted out wide too, Hopwood. That allows Bennett to stay right in touch with him as they come down Main Straight. 2 more laps of the Motordrome circuit to complete, and Hopwood still the leader. Bennett certainly closes on him in turn 2. He just can't quite get into a position to put the real pressure on. Hopwood the leader. White flag is out. There's only 1 lap left to go. Bennett in second place. Can he get this lead away? I don't think so. Peter Hopwood's now got a new lease of life and he's kicked away up in front. Bennett will have to be content with second. Gerard Green will hang on to third. The drive of the race perhaps has been the 66 of Rob Maunder to get up for fourth. Then Phil Moore fifth and Steve West sixth. But 70, Peter Hopwood takes the checkered flag. Bennett is second. Green is third. Robert Maunder is fourth in the 66. Then Phil Moore, followed by Steve West, a long way back to John Weaver, Glenn Murrell and Jared Cerrone. Stand by for the third heat of our Speed Car invitation tonight, supported by Galaxy Sounds. Sitting on pole position, 86 Adrian Marr, beside him the 52 of Steve Pollock, but back in the pack, the guys to watch, the Victorian 33, Mark Brown, did very well in his previous heat, and the American, John Coffer, in car number 2, the yellow car number 2. Gee, he was super impressive. Very quick, very smooth. So we stand by for the start, and in fact they get the green. And Adrian Marr read the start very well. So too did Peter Gent, the Victorian. He got up on the inside to look for second. The other Victorian, Mark Brown, got up on that windrow, which he tends to do, and it flicks him sideways a little, and that balked John Coffer just a little. Look at the American, high up on the circuit. Round the outside he goes, into a clear fourth place. No, it's not, because Mark Brown kicked back up on the inside of him, and Coffer's not getting it all his own way this time. Mark Brown, the Victorian, on the inside. Who's the meat in the sandwich? It's Steve Pollock. He said, wow, it's pretty hot in the kitchen, but I'm going to stay here. John Coffer, oh, he balked John Coffer on the outside, and Mark Brown got a super run through on the inside. But his Victorian state mate, that's Peter Gent, has gone to the lead. We might have a Mexican Quinella here with Mark Brown trying to get up on the inside of Adrian Marr. No, he's gone. Oh, bad luck for Mark Brown. The car has gone, and he's got a problem. Now the American John Coffer is left to battle it out for the lead. Currently lying in third place on the racetrack behind Adrian Marr, who's holding down second. But the American now is running out of laps. He's only got 1 more lap left to go. He can't win the race because the Victorian Peter Gent is going too well. Adrian Marr's hanging on very well too. The American John Coffer is third. Then Steve Pollock. Oh, here's Coffer getting up on the inside of Marr. He got through for second, but the Victorian Peter Gent is first. John Coffer second. Adrian Marr third. Steve Pollock fourth. Fifth place went to the New South Wales number 17, Brett Morris, and then came the 97 of Norm Jackson and the 6 of Terry King. 1:34.218 is the official time, and that is for 6 laps. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a new Motordrome 6-lap record. Let's hear it for the Victorian driver, Peter Gent. Up for the second heat in round 2 of the Speed Cars, 79 Gary Lanier and South Australia 17 Brett Squires have front row of the grid, 74 Alan Day and the Queenslander 23 Barry Valentino. They're the 4 cars up front. The yellow light is out. We're just about set for a start.
Yes, all set now, waiting for the green light to come on. Rod Bowen might be the man to watch too on the third row of the grid. He'll be charging very hard from there at the start. He'll look to get the split maybe on the inside or through the middle. There they go, the green flag drops, and it was Squires on the outside. He got the best of it. He jumped to the lead, the South Australian. He takes up the running. Car going around the outside to 23 of Valentino. Quickly moved to second place, and here comes Bowen. Bowen into third place now. He's out after him. He's still got plenty of laps up his sleeve there. Squire's going and drifting a bit high. He car not sounding the best at the moment. He's being put under pressure by Valentino, but here comes Bowen, a beautiful passing move on the inside of Valentino. Valentino coming back at him on the outside though. A great match, and here's one stream around the outside. It might be Lear in the car number 0. Watch for him too. He was a winner at Canberra, and he'll be doing his level best to be a winner at Newcastle. He drifted a bit high. He's in 4th place, and there's a car going sideways, and unfortunately will bring the race to a stop, and that's the 18 of Danny Hart. And he got a little bit crossed up coming out of turn 1-2, and he'll bring the race to a restart.
Oh, Rod Bowen doesn't want the Yanks doing it all their own way on Australia Day. And he said, OK, John Coffey, you're looking pretty impressive, but sit back and watch the stars of the Southern Cross. Yellow lights out. Away they go, and Squires was the man who took up the running. Rod Bowen tried to get by him, but wisely elected to back it off. Now he goes up on the outside. The South Australian Squires on the inside. The New South Welshman Rod Bowen round the outside, and Rocket Rod is on fire tonight. Coming down main straight away, Bowen the leader. All Squires almost sold out coming out of turn 4. And in fact, car 74, Alan Day, did sell out. He's gone up onto the apron of the track, and we'll just see whether the officials are going to let him go. They've declared that they're yellow lights. And Rod Bowen going up on the infield himself at the moment. So Bowen not happy about something. Don't tell me he's got a problem and is going to be out of the race. Yep, he is. Bowen is out. There's the start. And again, the South Australian Squires hangs on to the lead. Now the Queenslander, Valentino, is the guy who issues the challenge, and Gavin Lear, well, I suppose with the restarts, it's allowed him to get close enough if he's good enough. Squires leads. Here's Lear moving up on the outside of Valentino. Valentino kicks back again, hangs on to 2nd place. Lear shoots around the outside, and John Church went straight through on the inside. Danny Hart went through as well. Valentino's got a problem. He's out of the car race. Gee whiz, they're having an unhappy time tonight, the speed cars. One more lap to go, and it's Squires. Here comes Gavin Lear, the New South Wales driver, up on the outside. Down on the inside, Brett Squires. Gavin Lear on the outside. Lear makes the dive at him in turn 3-4. Squires inside. John Church out of the blue. John Church is going to knock them all off. No, he's not. Gavin Lear just got there and very happy about it with a big hand wave over the line. John Church has super drive to come up for 2nd place, and then 3rd place going to Brett Squires, Danny Hart, Alan Day, and last of all, Don McKay. Oh gee, a very exciting finish, despite the fact we're running out of cars, and Gavin Lear grabbed victory right on the line, snatching the win from John Church and the South Australian Brett Squires, and I guess he's saying to himself, where the heck did they come from? Now the street stocks grouped up for their street stock consolation, and the 38 of Jason Owen will have the front row of the grid. The 43 of Ken Murray, well, he'll be hoping to have a happier time than he did first time out, because he copped the black flag. Bill Harris and Mark Stewart are on the 2nd row of the grid, and the reason we have to have the consolation, we have to pop it in, is that the first bracket of cars from this race actually qualify for the feature. The rest can get on the trailer and watch from the sidelines. So we stand by for the start of our street stock consolation.
Yellow lights flashing, ready for a start. Owen and Murray on the front row. And it was Murray who got the best of the start. Owen seemed to go backwards. 2nd place is Stewart's moved up very quickly indeed into that 2nd place. Round the outside goes Bill Harris. He's looking to pick up 2nd spot, and he might just do that, and he does as he goes underneath the Coca-Cola time. And for the first time, the clear race leader is Ken Murray in the 43 Commodore. He's out in front. 2nd place is Bill Harris, who went very quickly through the field to move up into 2nd place in the space of 1 lap. 3rd place is Jason Owen in the 38 car, and then comes the 92 car, and that's driven by Bruce Jones. He's in 4th place. They're pretty well stretched out at the moment as they complete their 2nd lap. and it's the 43 car of Murray that leads. From the 94 in second place of Harris. Now Owen in the 38 car in third place is getting a little bit closer, then followed by the 92 of Jones. Then comes Stewart in the 68, and the Commodore is being put out under pressure by the 96 of Perkins and also the 86 of Jeff Medcar. No doubt about the race leader now as he comes up to the slower driver Greg Lear, and that's the 43 of Murray. The battle for second place is on at the moment. Jason Owens getting closer to Bill Harris. Harris drifted a little bit high there. Owens couldn't capitalise on it. They go down the back straight. He's within striking distance. Owens only got 2.5 to run. He'll be looking to move up into that second place, but there's no doubt about the leader, and that's Murray in the 43.
Well, he certainly is making amends for that black flag, but I think that car's sounding off a little bit. I think it might only be running on about 5 cylinders. Second place, Bill Harris. Then comes Jason Owen, followed by Bruce Jones. But Ken Murray's going to have enough up his sleeve to hang on. I'm pretty sure it's his car that's sounding very off at the moment and only running on, yeah, it sure is. It's dropped a cylinder. Harris is in second place. Jason Owen running third. Owen trying hard. Oh, gee, Ken Murray slowing dramatically. Luckily, he only had a lap left to go because he certainly has run out of power. He will come down and take the checkered flag, and he'll be thanking his lucky stars. Ken Murray is first. Second place goes to the 94 of Bill Harris, and the 38 of Jason Owen was third. 92 Bruce Jones fourth, and the 31 of Jared Cerrone was fifth. A 6-lap race time of 2 minutes 2.162. 2 minutes 2.162, and Ken Murray, luckily, grabs the checkered flag. Whether he'll be able to come out in the feature race or not's another thing, because that car sounded like it was only running on 5 out of 6.
But it's a Holden, so it doesn't matter. It's bound to get up whether it's running on 5, 6 or 1. And there he is, lap of honour. Let's hear it for the Holden fans. Ken Murray, good on you, Ken.
This is event 6, the Tip Top Bakeries Stock Car Tap Tap Derby. Andrew Clark on the front row of the grid. Stand by for a start. We've sent them away. Brendan Myers got away well from about the third row of the grid. Now on the back of the grid, car number 15 was making a fast forward move. That's Jamie Ralston. There goes the first spin of the race. It happened in the very first corner, and it was Johnson, the man who got tipped out. So completing lap number 1, and it's Andrew Clark the leader. Brendan Meyer is out after him, and he'll chase pretty strongly too. Paul Clark running third, and then Darren Horton. But we'll have a look at the front of the grid, where Andrew Clark in the black car number 4 is trying to hold off the challenge of the red car number 1, driven by Brendan Meyer. Meyer getting a little bit closer. I think if he gets close enough, he'll try and put the tap on Clark. Clark up very, very high on the track. Oh, there it is. There's the slam from Brendan Meyer. He got him. And Andrew Clark knocked out of the race lead by Brendan Meyer. Second place now goes to the 16 car of Paul Clark, who's under a little bit of pressure too from the number 14 of Darren Horton. And I think Horton might be trying to line Clark up if he possibly can. Yep, he's getting a little closer to him. Right up onto the back bumper. I'd say Horton will clean up Clark. Here he goes. No, I thought he might have just got to him there, but he didn't. In fact, Clark might put it on Brendan Meyer. Yes, he gave him the bump, but he couldn't unload him. Wham! He got the backwash of the incident, Clark, and he collided with the concrete wall. Now he's gone. Horton will give him the flick. No, he held on beautifully. Good control by Paul Clark. He's done everything in that lap. He tried to spin Brendan Myers, he crashed with the concrete wall, and he staved off a challenge from Darren Horton. Now he's up on the inside of Brendan Meyer. Will he try and give him the flick out of the road? Oh, he might even go to the race lead here. Up on the inside of Meyer, and Darren Horton's looking for a way through. He's got the split in the middle, has Darren Horton. He could spin Brendan Meyer out of the action, but he's not going to. Up to a slower car they come. Clark got through on the inside. Meyer got squeezed right up on the outside into the concrete wall. Sparks flying everywhere. Oh, Grant Johnson got into trouble right in front of Horton. Jamie Ralston collided into him going into turn 2. Oh, here's Clark being spun out of the lead now, and Brendan Meyer is back in front. No, he's not. Clark is hanging on. One more lap to go, and the stock cars are running hot tonight. Brendan Meyer's about to unload. Clark got him. Brendan Meyer got himself. Now he managed to keep going. Oh, he dodged through the chicanes over the back straightaway. The red light's on. What's happening here? Oh, mayhem's broken loose. Brendan Meyer. We'll just check what's happening. So Brendan Meyer, I think we're going to give the race win. We'll leave it at that, and then we'll clear up any change to that order, but we'll give the race win to the number 1 car of Brendan Meyer, and that's one of the most exciting stockies we've seen for a while. How about a round of applause for the stock car boys? So we're down to the first 6 heats of the test match competition, supported by Complete Fuel Supplies. On the track for Australia, the number 3 of Ron Pine, Reverend Ronnie Pine. And look out, here I come, Bob Brewer. Or as his little badge that he's wearing on his overalls tonight says, here comes trouble. USA 1, John Soares, and USA 2, Charlie Schwartz. Points are scored on a 3-2-1 basis, 3 for first, 2 for second, 1 for third. And John Soares going onto the infield. Is this a troublesome sign in the opening heat of the race? Soares moves in, has a chat with the pit crew. They say, well, we don't know what's wrong here, John. They're having a look. They've got a torch and having a look at the front right hand, now the front left hand. Reverend Ronnie receiving plenty of support from the fans here in Main Strataway. And John Soares is the man holding up progress at the moment. Looks like they're sending out another car early on. This could be the first substitution right from heat 1. Yep, they're sending another one out. The Soares car's not right. Well, there was something wrong with it in the heats. Okay, there's the signal from the steward that he requires 2 minutes on another American car to make the racetrack. Soares back on track. And he is going to take pole position, the American. Okay, this is the opening heat of the Complete Fuel Supplies Super Sedan test. John Soares, pole position for America. Ron Pine, position 2 for Australia. Bob Brewer, position 3 for Australia. And Charlie Schwartz, position 4 for the United States. The yellow lights flash. Away they go. Brewer tried to sneak up on the inside. Ron Pine up high on the track. John Soares the lead in the sandwich. Ron Pine and Bob Brewer up on the inside. The Australians have got a 5-1 in the opening heat. Bob Brewer hanging on to second place. Charlie Schwartz has got through on the inside of his captain, John Soares, but the Australians running 1-2 at the moment. Soares trying too hard at the back of the pack, almost sold out there. Charlie Schwartz can't get close enough to Brewer at the moment. Ron Pine and Bob Brewer. They're powering down main straightaway. They lead from Charlie Schwartz, and then comes John Soares. But Ron Pine, he's found a new lease tonight. Bob Brewer's just protecting the low line of the track, and Charlie Schwartz has got it all to do. Can the Australians keep it together? What a start this will be. Ron Pine and Bob Brewer, one more lap to go. Charlie Schwartz in third place, John Soares on the tail of the field, but coming down main straightaway, what a start for the Aussies. Ron Pine comes in at 1, Bob Brewer comes in at 2. Charlie Schwartz is third, and the Australians get away to a flying start. The time recorded 1 minute 4.602, and on the complete fuel supply scoreboard, number 3 Ron Pine for Australia scores 3 points. Number 2 Bob Brewer for Australia scores 2 points to give them 5. USA 2 Charlie Schwartz scored 1 point. USA 1 John Soares failed to score. Only 1 point for the Americans. The Australians off to a great start after heat number 1. Australia 5, the USA 1. This is heat 2. Position 1, John Pine for Australia. Position 2, Clint Smith for the United States. Set for a start. And racing a very good start. John Pine on the inside, Clint Smith on the outside. Scott Blomqvist getting up on the inside of McEwen. The Americans running 1, 2 and 3 at the moment. They need to get the break. John Pine trying to kill the heat. Here's Blomqvist getting up on the inside. Don McEwen got 2 on the inside. John Pine's hanging on to the lead, and John Pine the leader, followed by Scott Blomqvist. Blomqvist trying to get up to kill the heat now because Don McEwen's running in third place. Blomqvist has got it all to do. He's right behind John Pine at the moment. John Pine the leader. Scott Blomqvist is second. Don McEwen is third. Australia have got a 4-2 situation here. Then comes Clint Smith, who just cannot get any closer to Don McEwen at the moment. John Pine doing it for Australia and doing it strong. Scott Blomqvist is second. Don McEwen is third. Clint Smith is running fourth. Here's Blomqvist getting the shot on the inside of Pine. Pine drifted up high. Blomqvist up on the inside. Pine coming back at him. Blomqvist on the inside. Pine on the outside. And Pine's got it. Pine was there first, just in front of USA 4, Scott Blomqvist. Then came Don McEwen. Oh, and that is super Sedan test match racing. 1 minute 3.281, the time for the heat. Australia 9, John Pine, 3 points. USA 4, Scott Blomqvist, 2 points. Australia 18, Don McEwen, 1 point. USA 3, Clint Smith, failed to score. 4 points to Australia, 2 points to the United States. After heat 2, the progress score, Australia 9, the United States 3. A big 6-point difference and a flying start for the Aussies. We tipped it up here and we're going good at the moment.
Yes, we've seen some great team racing so far, Ross, in that first heat. It was a great drive by the other Australian driver, Bob Brewer. He got Ron Pine out in front. He knows that Ron Pine not the strongest in the Australian team, but he got him out in front and protected that second place. Set them up with a 5-1, and that could be the difference at the end of the night. So great team driving by Australia.
Okay, let's get down to heat 3. Sitting on the track and waiting is the USA 3 Clint Smith, and Charlie Schwartz coming out as USA 2. The car number 3 is Ron Pine, and the 2-minute siren has sounded. Don McEwen is supposed to take his place in this heat, but I guess he's dropped back in after that first heat of his competition. Maybe some tyre adjustment, some inflation in the tyres, some air pressure in the tyres to be changed. So Don McEwen's crew looking at that at the moment. But Australia off to a great start. They couldn't have wished for a better start, leading by 6 points after just 2 heats, and they want to make it a 3-0. I bet you Aussie fans are happy. Time ticking away here for Don McEwen, the crew looking anxiously at the car. One of the pit crew with his head in the cockpit there and having a chat with Don whilst the others are at the tyre. I think they're adjusting tyre pressure. That's at least what it looks like to me. But we've got a sub coming out. No, Don McEwen's coming out. We better see what's happening here in the Australian team. McEwen is ready to take his place, so Pine will have to go out. Pine will have to go out and McEwen will come in because McEwen is ready. I think John Pine might have been protecting the 2 minutes there. He might have been getting a bit panicky and make sure that Australia at least had 2 cars in the pack. Captain Australia's got it under control. Back we go. Pole position, USA 2, Charlie Schwartz. Position 2, Australia 18, Don McEwen. Position 3, Australia 3, Ron Pine. Position 4, USA 3, Clint Smith. Important heat for the Americans here. They've got to now start winning heats already at this stage just to at least get back to level pegging. Americans have got to start winning. No start there. Charlie Schwartz way out in front of the position 2 car, Don McEwen. Half a car length or so is not too bad, but there were about 3 car lengths there in that start-up. Well, 2 anyway. So they come into the main straight away, looking for another start. Away they go, Schwartz on the inside, McEwen the outside, Ron Pine's tucked up there. They're going to make sure they kill the heat now, because if they run side by side, Pine and McEwen, there's no way in the world that Clint Smith can get through there. So the race leader is Charlie Schwartz. The danger, though, is Clint Smith. If he can pick off one of these Australian cars, he puts America right back in the action. Ron Pine has drifted up. Here's a chance for Smith to come up on the inside of him. Pine came back at him. Pine out wide. Down on the inside, we've got the car number 3 of Clint Smith. Pine tried to come back across him. Charlie Schwartz, Don McEwen and Ron Pine. There's a cloud of dust there as Don McEwen had a go at Charlie Schwartz. And the guy who's in the real hot seat at the moment, Clint Smith. 1 more lap to go. It's Schwartz, followed by McEwen and then Pine. The Australians look as if they, oh no, up on the inside goes Smith. The Americans have got a 4-2. This is what they had to do to get themselves back into the test match. USA 2, Charlie Schwartz, 18, Don McEwen, and a very important 3rd placing to Clint Smith. Ron Pine failed to score. 1 minute 4.141. So after heat 3 on our scoreboard, a very important heat for the United States. USA 2, Charlie Schwartz scored 3 points. Australia 18, Don McEwen scored 2 points. USA 3, Clint Smith scored that all-important 1 point. And Australia 3, Ron Pine failed to score. So it was a 4-point heat for the Americans, and it was a 2-point heat for the Australians. So they narrowed the gap, which was important for them to do at that stage. Australia still leads the test. Australia 11 lead the United States 7. We move to heat 4. Australia 2, Bob Brewer is on the track. So too is USA 4, Scott Blomqvist, and USA 1, John Soares, waiting for the Australian captain John Pine to come to the racetrack, which he's doing now. And all cars set for heat 4. Pole position, Australia 2, Bob Brewer. Position 2, USA 4, Scott Blomqvist. Position 3, USA 1, John Soares, and John Pine in trouble. Now the car fired up, got to the racetrack, has stopped, and I wonder whether it's an indication that Pine is having problems with the car. We'll soon see. As we're about to launch into heat 4, the car is pushed away. Pine this time has got himself fired up. He'll come round and pick them up. The next time round we should see a start. Bob Brewer just holding back a little bit, trying to make Scott Blomqvist come back to him. Scott Blomqvist keeping ahead and wanting Brewer to move up to his pace. A little bit of cat and mouse going on the front row of the grid. Brewer and Blomqvist. Bob Brewer just absolutely hates the Yanks. Stand by. Good start. Blomqvist got away well on the outside. Brewer up on the inside, tries to get back at him. Blomqvist the leader. Brewer coming up on the inside. Brewer on the inside. Blomqvist on the outside. Who's going to give in here? Brewer pulls off a super pass on the inside, and Brewer's back to the lead. Oh, here's Blomqvist switching back down onto the inside. Blomqvist comes up on the inside of Brewer. Brewer tries to come back at him. Blomqvist forces his way through on the inside. Brewer backs off, and now he wants to get some inside running. But the Americans are going to peg back another couple of points here, because John Soares is in that very important third place, and John Pine cannot get by him at the moment. Only one more lap to go. The Americans are getting back in the action. Scott Blomqvist the leader, Bob Brewer second, followed by John Soares and then John Pine. John Pine trying to come up on the inside of Soares. That's where the important part of this car race is at the moment, unless Bob Brewer can get to Blomqvist. But Blomqvist is first. Bob Brewer is second. Piney gets up, and no, he didn't quite make it. John Soares just held on. And a fast time, 1 minute 2.972. Oh, and John Pine made a desperate dive there to get to Soares, but he didn't quite make it. USA 4, Scott Blomqvist, 3 points. Australia 2, Bob Brewer, 2 points. USA 1, John Soares, 1 point. Australia 9, John Pine didn't score. So another 4-point heat to the Americans, a 2-point heat for the Australians, and now the gap has narrowed. Australia 13, USA 11. Well, the Australians jumped straight out of the blocks and opened up a 6-point break in the space of 2 heats. The Americans showing that they're cool and calm and collected under pressure, and they've fought back, and now only 2 points the difference as we go to heat 5. USA 1, John Soares in position 1. Australia 18, Don McEwen in position 2. Australia 2, Bob Brewer in position 3. And USA 3, Clint Smith in position 4. Stand by for the start. This is heat 5 of the complete fuel supplies test. It's a great start. Soares on the inside. Don McEwen trying to tuck right down behind. Bob Brewer is up on the inside as well. And again, Clint Smith has got some work to do. John Soares is killing the heat at the moment, and Bob Brewer and Don McEwen running side by side. McEwen getting a bit of a touch with Brewer there. The Aussies are getting a bit panicky. Here's Clint Smith coming up on the inside, and the Aussies starting to panic a little. They've got a 4-2 back again. Now Bob Brewer getting back to the lead on Soares, and Bob Brewer got there. Bob Brewer grabs the lead. He wants 3 points for Australia. John Soares, then Clint Smith. Clint Smith up on the windrow. Up on the outside goes Don McEwen. He's got to get that extra point if he can. 1 more lap left to go. McEwen out too wide. He's lost all chance. Cuts the corner to try to make up ground, but he's right out of the action. Bob Brewer, followed by John Soares and Clint Smith. But come on, you Aussies, let's hear it for Bob. He's grabbed the 3 points and wrapped up the heat. Bob Brewer is first. Second place goes to John Soares, third to Clint Smith, and fourth place to Don McEwen. 1 minute 3.955. Oh, on our complete fuel supplies scoreboard, Australia 2, Bob Brewer, a fantastic drive to grab the lead and get the 3 points. USA 1, John Soares ran second. He got the 2 points. USA 3, Clint Smith ran third to get the 1 point. And Don McEwen, Australia 18, did not score in that heat. Both teams finished with 3 points from the heat. So still 2 points the difference in favour of Australia. Australia 16 lead the USA 14. This now is the 6th heat of competition, the last heat before we reach the halfway mark, and Australia would be desperate to go into this halfway mark with a 2-point lead. The Americans have fought back courageously, but the Australians now showing that they've got a bit of ticker too, and Bob Brewer came back very strongly there to grab the 3 points. Position 1, John Pine for Australia. Position 2, Scott Blomqvist for the United States. Watch for the start. It'll be fast. Pine on the inside, Blomqvist on the outside. Who's going to give in? Pine inside, Blomqvist outside. Pine got the lead. Schwartz goes up on the inside of Blomqvist. Blomqvist coming up on the outside of Pine. John Pine's got to kill the 3 points here because he's got the 2 Americans bulldogs snapping at his heels. John Pine the leader, followed by Charlie Schwartz and then Scott Blomqvist. Ron Pine's out of the action. It's all on John Pine at the moment. Come on, Aussies, you've got to cheer for him. John Pine, the leader, followed by Charlie Schwartz, then Scott Blomqvist dropping off the pace a little. John Pine has got 1.5 laps left to hang on. Can he possibly do it? He needs your support. 1 more lap left to go. John Pine holding the Americans at bay. He wants to make it a 3-all going into this heat so that Australia can have that 2-point lead. And coming out of turn 4, it looks as if John Pine will hang on. He comes down to take a good checker. John Pine is first, Charlie Schwartz is second, Scott Blomqvist is third, and Ron Pine is fourth. 1 minute 3.133. And from heat 6 on the complete fuel supply scoreboard, Australia 9, John Pine scores 3 points. USA 2, Charlie Schwartz scores 2 points. USA 4, Scott Blomqvist scored 1 point. And Australia 3, Ron Pine failed to score. Again, both teams took 3 points from the heats. So at the halfway mark of our complete fuel supplies international super sedan test, Australia have a 2-point lead. Australia 19, the USA 17. I want to have a chat with both the captains because at this stage of our test match, only 2 points the difference. The Australian team are leading. Where are you Aussie fans? Let John Pine know that you're behind him. John, how are things travelling with the team?
Well, everything seems to be going to plan, but, you know, I think it, like John said earlier, the track can change and change the whole thing, but, you know, we're still keeping those couple of points ahead. If we can keep that buffer there the rest of the night, we'll be happy. So,
gee, you jumped out of the blocks quickly, opened up a 6-point break in the first 2 heats.
Yeah, we were supposed to keep that. That was plan 1, went down the drain. It's like Border says, nothing always works right, but the thing is you know, we've got to try and get another couple of points up, and then it's a little bit of a cushion. So, you know, the track went away, and we probably got caught out. It's the same as the Yanks. If they get caught out, they get caught out. But I think it's been pretty good. Everybody's still straight, and it's pretty close and pretty hard.
Great racing. Good luck with the second half.
Well, we just want a couple more points and we'll be right.
Okay. John Soares, where are the American fans cheering on for Captain America? Oh, gee, John, only 2 points the difference. What a much improved performance from the side.
Well, yeah, we're running a lot better. And if you remember the last time we were here, we were leading by 2 points in the last heat and we lost.
Yeah, true. Now, I made a comment during the call, 6-point break by the Australians in the first 2 heats, yet you blokes just kept you cool.
Well, that's what you got to do. I had a little problem with my car, and
What was the problem, John?
Well, I had a set of quick change gears. One of the teeth were coming off of it, and it was making a terrible noise, and so I just went ahead and ran it anyway, and hoping that it didn't break anything, but we went ahead and fixed it, and I think, you know, it'll be a little better. You're a little more confident to drive it when it's not making a lot of noise in the cab.
Yeah, true. Now, listen, I want to put your mind on 2 things right at the moment. Test is going very, very well, but we've got 2 other American drivers coming out for an open challenge here on Saturday night. Can you tell the fans just a little about the 2 guys that are coming?
Well, I've got two gentlemen that are coming out from Petaluma, California. I've raced with both of them for years. One of the gentlemen is Leo Levis, and he's a three-time what they call posse champion, which is like your old Grand National cars with the big wings and all the big tires and stuff. And he's a very tough competitor, and these kind of tracks he's really good on. The other gentleman is Mark Pollard, which has won the Petaluma Championship up there for 3 years in a row, and he races late models and sprint cars. So he's kind of like Jack Hewitt. He's really universal.
Okay, so we're looking forward to another great night on Saturday night. The International Challenge continues.
It should be really good. We haven't figured out who's going to drive what car, so I think we're just going to put numbers in a hat, and whoever ends up with the car, that's what they'll be driving.
And you'll be here on that night too, John?
Yes, Ross, it's a different format, so it's not a test team's race.
Yep.
The format's very interesting, and it means that you've got to keep it cool all night, get through the heats, qualify into the next race, then qualify out of that into the semi-main, then run a semi-main, then run to the final. And then the final is 4 laps with 4 cars, rotation, and I tell you, the money's at the end, so we're all on different sides. So.
All right, well, right now we've got to get down to this test.
Yeah, well, let's get back to it.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're just about set for the second half of the program. A thanks to John Soares, the American captain, and a thanks to John Pine, the Australian captain. And a change to our program, we've got the stock cars coming up next just to make sure this moisture is right in the track, and then we'll be back to the second half of the heats. Joel.
6 laps. Wyndon in the 77 up front with Jamie Ralston, the 15. There goes the green flag. Andrew Clark got a flyer from the back of the field. He'll try and go around the outside, and he does that now. And Clark takes up the running. 15 of Ralston might be one to watch. There's Wyndon selling out himself. Oh, a bit of danger there. Could have been a lot of trouble. He spun back onto the track and nearly collected a few of the others. But Clark's got the best of it at the moment in car number 4. He's opened up a bit of a break. Ralston in second place. A bit of action back in the field. There's the 50 of Tank Johnson going for a spin around onto the infield. But other than that, pretty well stretched out over the Motordrome at the moment. We've had a few dropouts and not many cars out on the track compared to the first race, Ross, but Andrew Clark doing the best of it. Brendan Myers, one of the predominant ones, not out there in this event.
It's a pretty lonely old time out there, isn't it? There's only a couple of cars, the 2 bluey coloured cars going through turn 1, 2 at the moment, that are the only ones that even look like they're near anyone for some race action, although Clarkie's catching up to a couple of slowies. Goodbye. Wyndon gets the spin out. Up onto the infield he goes. Horton, and oh, gee whiz, that was a hard hit. There was no backing off there, and the 141 car just slammed into Darren Horton. He's okay though, he's back on the track and rolling, but that was a hard stock car hit. That wasn't a tap, that was a smash. Pete Sampras would have been happy with that one. Here comes another one. No, he's not going to quite, yes, he just got a little touch on him and out of the action he went. But it's car 4. The race leader, that's Andrew Clark. And Jamie Ralston's right behind him at the moment. Bit of trouble over there in turn 1, 2, just ahead of the race leader, but he got by it okay. Whoa, dear, the car number 26 lost direction and went straight out in front of 2 others and took them out. Oh, Andrew Clark sold out. If he makes it a 360 and gets it going again, he'll just make it. Well, how about that? Still get the race win even though you chuck a 360. Andrew Clark, Darren Horton, and John Lodge, I think it is, in the 141. So, if that's an advertisement for a recruiting drive, well, there you go. You can get out there and you can have some fun yourself in the stock car ranks. Whew, not for me. Andrew Clark took out the victory in 2 minutes 21.707 as the stock cars clean themselves up and we get set for the Speedcar Stars race. We have a trophy to present to the winner here. We've got the Tui's Stars Dash and the 8 cars in the competition. 5 John Church, 86 Adrian Marr, 75 Rod Bowen, 0 Gavin Lear, 74 Alan Day, South Australia 17 Brett Squires, Queensland 23 Barry Valentino, and USA 2 John Coffer. They're the 8 starters for the Stars Dash. Gee, that'll be a great race. Starters grouped up for the Tooheys Stars Dash for the Speed Cars. Unfortunately, we are without the American John Coffer because apparently he has a car problem and he's working on the car to get it ready for the feature race. So unfortunately, we go without the American. John Church on pole position. Position 2, Adrian Marr. Position 3, Rod Bowen. Watch out for Rocket Rod. And watch out for the car beside him, Gavin Lear. And they've given them the green. John Church got the jump. Away he went. He went to the lead. Let's see where Gavin Lear's going to come from. Up on the outside. Rod Bowen's down on the inside. Bowen got through on the inside of Adrian Marr. Bowen goes up to second place. Gavin Lear dropped right back to second last. John Church has got them covered at the moment. He leads from Rod Bowen. I think Bowen might be the big danger, though, to see if he can run down John Church, but he's not making much ground at the moment. Now he gets a bit of a go on out of turn 2, and Gavin Lear's starting to get it all together again. But he's going to pay the penalty for dropping back early in the race. He's in 4th place. Now Rod Bowen right within sight of John Church. What can he do? Will it be an outside or an inside pass? Oh, beautiful inside pass by Rod Bowen. He got through there super easily. John Church drifted off the line and Rod Bowen nailed him. Down Main straight away, it's all Rod Bowen, followed by John Church, Gavin Lear, then Alan Day. The next car through is Adrian Marr, the South Australian Brett Squires, and the Queenslander Barry Valentino. But 2 more laps left to run, and it's all Rod Bowen. This is the best form we've seen him in at the Motordrome. Very consistent, very smooth. John Church is second. 3rd place is Gavin Lear, and those 3 have raced away from the rest of the pack. 1 more lap left to run. Oh, he seemed to be slow. No, he's he's slowing a little bit, Rod Bowen. He's got a problem. The car is gone. Bowen has blown it, and Gavin Lear's going to come from nowhere and take this race out. What a change in the last lap. The old saying, it's not over till a checkered flag drops, and Gavin Lear got there. Gavin Lear has defeated John Church. Alan Day was 3rd. Then came Brett Squires, Barry Valentino, and Adrian Marr. 138.727. You wouldn't believe the change that came over that race.
Yes, incredible, Ross, how with only 1 lap to go, a bit bad luck for Rod Bowen. He'll be very unhappy with that effort, but mechanical problems forcing him onto the infield, as they did in one of the earlier heats, but take nothing away from Gavin Lear. He dropped back to near last early on in the race. He got very balked and hampered, and he had to come from the back of the pack and do it the hard way, but he's taken out event 8 on the program. The Stars Dash over 6 laps, the 0 of Gavin Lear. 2nd place went to number 5 car driven by John Church. 3rd place going to the 74 car of Alan Day. 4th place went to the 17 car, and that's the South Australian 17 driven by Brett Squires, and 5th place going to the 23 car, Queensland 23, Barry Valentino. But we have some trophy presentations, and we'll go down trackside with Ross Allen.
Thank you, Joel. What about a big round of applause for Gavin Lear, the winner of our Tooheys Stars Dash. Gavin, congratulations. Super drive. I mean, with 1 lap left to go, we're all ready to write down Rod Bowen with John Church in 2nd place, and then all in the space of 1 lap, you've grabbed the checkered flag. Well done.
Yes, a lot of luck. We've been lucky the last couple of races. I just hope it keeps up one more. And I'd like to thank everybody. Thanks.
Yes, and last night we understand that you managed to grab victory in the feature at Canberra. Is that correct? The right information we've got?
Yeah, that's correct, and it was another lucky one.
It doesn't matter. It reads in the scorebook that you've won it. You've taken the checkered flag tonight. Now, Rod Bowen in super form, though, he looks like he's got a problem. The American John Coffer is in the pits with a problem. You might look like the hot favourite for the feature tonight.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. There's a lot of other blokes there going good. we just get lucky occasionally.
Well, you've got lucky tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of our Tui Stars Dash is Gavin Lear, and we're going to get set now for the second half of our test match tonight. Here we go with the second half of the test on the track for heat number 7 for Australia. Number 3, Ron Pine, and number 2, Bob Brewer. For the United States, USA 1, John Soares, and USA 2, Charlie Schwartz. Come on, the Aussies! Charlie Schwartz has pole position for the Americans. Beside him is the Australia 2, Bob Brewer. Position 3, Australia 3, Ron Pine. And position 4, the captain of the American team, John Soares. Moving into the start zone. This could be the start to heat 7. No, too far off. Bob Brewer was just too far off the pole car, Charlie Schwartz. There was a good length and a half between the front two cars. Schwartz setting a pretty fast clip. That's a better start. Schwartz on the inside. Brewer's got sparks coming out from underneath that car in second place. Ron Pine got into trouble. Now he'll stop there. Ron Pine will stop there once he lost contact with the top group of cars on the opening lap. He's going to get the race stopped. Ron Pine will go to the rear and receiving a caution as well. Ron Pine will go to the rear of the field. So we'll have Schwartz 1, Brewer 2, Soares 3, and Pine 4. Ron Pine receiving the caution. So, getting ready for a start. Set. And away they go. Now Pine up on the outside will look to try and get an advantage. Brewer's got sparks pouring out from underneath that car. Schwartz up on the inside. Bob Brewer on the outside. Brewer's going to get the lead. Schwartz is still trying to tuck up on the inside of him, but Brewer's got him covered at the moment. Brewer the leader, followed by Schwartz. Then comes Soares and Ron Pine out of the action at the moment. Now, Bob Brewer, I don't know that sparks can keep pouring out from underneath your car like that and you can keep going. I don't know what it is at the moment, but Bob Brewer is out there in front. He's defying the brakes, I think, rubbing. I think it might be brakes rubbing, I'm not sure. He's certainly not losing any power. Charlie Schwartz is running second. Soares is third and Ron Pine is fourth. There's only a lap to go. It's 3-all at the moment on the racetrack. 3 points to Australia, 3 points to the United States, and Bob Brewer is the man who's holding the Americans at bay. Ron Pine dropping right off the pace, but it looks as if Bob Brewer will manage to hang on. He comes out of turn 4 and wins the race. Australia 2, Bob Brewer. USA 2, Charlie Schwartz. USA 1, John Soares. And Australia 3, Ron Pine. 1 minute 3.356, but there would be some concern about the shower of sparks coming out from underneath the Bob Brewer car. Let's go to the scoreboard. Australia 2, Bob Brewer, 3 points. USA 2, Charlie Schwartz, 2 points. USA 1, John Soares, 1 point. And Australia 3, Ron Pine, failed to score. So 3 points to the American and 3 points to the Australian team from that heat. So we still have a 2-point margin. Australia 22, the United States 20. We We now head to... Now the news from the infield is that the sparks pouring out from Bob Brewer's car are the brake pads. So when he jumps on the brakes is when the sparks come. So he's got a bit of a problem there that he's trying to sort out. Metal king pads they're called, which cause that sparks to pour out. We're set now for heat 8 of the test. Stand by for the start. It was a good start. Blomqvist got away well on the outside. Here's a great chance for the Americans to level up the score. With Clint Smith getting up on the inside of Don McEwen, the Americans might take the lead. Don McEwen's got a big job ahead of him. He's got to hang on to that second spot, or John Pine, who's running in 4th place at the moment, has got to get by Clint Smith to lock it all up. Let's see what can happen. Scott Blomqvist has given them the slip. Clint Smith has got it all to do. For the Americans, he's got to try and hang on. Oh, Don McEwen's got untidy. Clint Smith's given him a bump. Don McEwen's clipped Clint Smith on the infield. Up onto the infield they go. The front section of Don McEwen's car has come adrift. And Scott Blomqvist out in front. And car 18, Don McEwen to the rear. The steward felt that Clint Smith was coming through on the inside and Don McEwen came down onto Clint Smith's car. So the Americans will have a 1-2. The Yanks will have a 1-2, and this will put them in the lead in the test if they finish where they are. The American fans are starting to smile. It'll be Scott Blomqvist 1 and Clint Smith 2. John Pine 3, Don McEwen 4. Oh, McEwen's starting to get a little bit of a temper up. John Pine saying, what's going on here? We can't have 2 American cars on the front. McEwen's got to go to the rear, so we have the 2 American cars on the front row of the grid, Blomqvist 1 and Clint Smith 2, and then we have John Pine 3 and Don McEwen 4. So now the Australians get the news that they have got a lot of work to do. Would you believe that after opening up a 6-point lead, we now are faced with the situation where the Americans could lead for the first time in the test match, and they've had to wait to heat 8 to get that lead. 3 laps to go. And they are away. Now these 2 will just run side by side, I would reckon. Blomqvist will get down on the inside. Clint Smith will get up on the outside. John Pine's trying to split them up. Pine comes up on the inside. John Pine has split up the Americans. Clint Smith has gone off onto the infield, almost came back in front of Don McEwen, and he'll sit there. He'll wait. Clint Smith will sit on the side of the track and he'll wait. Now the steward's letting the race go. No, he's gone for the red light. USA 3, Clint Smith is going to go to the rear. Just getting his infield crew to check the steering. Still 3 to go. So now we will have Scott Blomqvist 1, John Pine 2, Don McEwen 3, and Clint Smith 4. We're back into race formation with 3 laps to run. But well, I think edges are starting to fray a little. I'm not sure, because I think they now realise the important stage of this test match.
Well, that's the thing, Ross. It's getting down to the second half, which is close to the end of the test match, and both teams desperate. Australia clinging onto that 2-point lead.
The Americans had shown that they'd kept their cool early on, but now we're seeing both teams probably not quite as cool under pressure.
No, that's right. This is the business end, and they're getting down to business all right out there. They're going a little bit harder and driving faster, and we should be in for one hell of a second half. Getting ready now, though.
They're going to go without Smith. No, they're not. Well, the light was flashing. And I was waiting for Smith to come to the track, but I guess he's not going to be able to do it. So Blomqvist will take on the two Australians, and he'll have to kill the 3 points here. Well, 1 minute we're saying the Americans can get to the lead, and now we're saying that they're struggling to get a three-pointer. Pine up on the outside. The Aussie fans start to cheer as Pine is right behind Blomqvist going out of turn two. Blomqvist is keeping it down tight and low. He is not going to give an inch in this car race now. He knows that he's just got to kill the 3 points. He must win this heat because he's out there flying the stars and stripes on his own. And he's starting to move away too. John Pine seems to have gone. Something's amiss with the car. And I think he might have had some suspension problems there. Scott Blomqvist racing away. John Pine second, Don McEwen third. It's going to lock up in a 3-all situation. And the American Scott Blomqvist is going to score those 3 points. Captain Australia John Pine will be second. And Don McEwen will be third. And Clint Smith didn't finish in the race. No time taken because of the stoppages. And a 3-all from that heat. USA 4, Scott Blomqvist 3 points. Australia 9, John Pine 2 points. Australia 18, Don McEwen 1 point. And USA 3, Clint Smith failed to score. So another 3-all situation. 3 points to America, 3 points to Australia. Australia still have that slender 2-point lead. Australia 25, the USA 23. Now, Scott Blomqvist and Charlie Schwartz coming out for the Americans. So Blomqvist is now going to start substituting. He's allowed 3 substitutions. So the Americans, I reckon, are now going to start playing tactics. I'd say you'll see Scott Blomqvist drive every race from here on in. I'd say he'll substitute in heat 11 too. What do you think?
I think it won't matter because I think Australia can still win it whether he's out there or not. Bobby Brewer's out there for Australia. John Pine, the only one we're looking up at the moment, he seemed to have a bit of suspension trouble. The side of that car hiking up a bit. And if you were here the other night, you would have seen the same thing. John Pine had a few troubles with his suspension, so hopefully he can work that out.
Well, Jolly Aussies are supposed to have Ron Pine and Don McEwen out here, so I wonder whether they might start making some substitutions too. Bob Brewer is out there, so that's a definite substitution. Just who he's out there for, we don't know. And the push vehicle is getting behind John Pine. So they're going to start making substitutions as well. Remember, one driver is allowed to substitute 3 times. So Blomqvist is there and Schwartz is there. Bob Brewer. And we're waiting for one more Australian car, and there's only 1 more minute to get to the racetrack. And it is going to be John Pine. 1 minute to go. Pine coming out. So 2 substitutions for Australia. Brewer is in and Pine is in. Okay. Here's Pine. Looks as if they might have made a couple of quick changes there. Blomqvist, Brewer, Pine and Schwartz. That's the pack. This is heat 8 and we have 3 substitutions here. The only driver who's out in the right heat is Charlie Schwartz. Everybody else is substituting. 2 points the difference on our Coca-Cola scoreboard. Australia 25, the United States 23. Good start. Blomqvist got away well. Schwartz tries to tuck down on the inside. Pine tries to keep him out. Bob Brewer's got problems. Those sparks just spewing out from under that car. And Brewer has now brought the race to a halt. He's going to stop the race. No laps scored. So there's a tactic for Brewer. Brewer will go to the rear. And it will be Blomqvist 1, Pine 2, Schwartz 3, Brewer 4, and the steward has called for a single file restart. Well, maybe he might not be happy with the tactic, thinking that it's just a bit of ungentlemanly conduct, bad sportsmanship.
Well, tactics play a big part in team racing, Ross.
Well, yeah, that's a
over
good
the
point.
years. Tactics too, where a lot of people might not think it's fair that the number 4 of Bloomquist races the final races, but tactics are tactics when it comes down to USA versus Australia team racing.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
The Chief Steward's the Chief Steward when it comes down to
I
racing.
was just
too.
about to say, he's the guy that calls the shots. So yes, the steward is indicating on our track communication that in fairness, if drivers are deliberately going to bring the race to a halt on the opening lap, just to bring the rest of the field back to him, he doesn't feel that's fair. He feels that the other 3 cars are being completely disadvantaged. Bob Brewer's got problems. Those brakes are not right. The sparks spewing out from underneath it. And Ron Pine will come back in and take his original place. So the 2 Pines carry it for Australia. Ron Pine will have to take Brewer's position at the rear of the field. Single file restart at the instruction of the steward. I guess that's a fair call. If you're going to stop the race and bring the whole field back to you, you've got to pay some sort of penalty. Rear of field in a single file. Away they go. Scott Blomqvist, followed by John Pine. Then comes Charlie Schwartz and Ron Pine. So the Americans are going to level it up here unless John Pine can get the lead. And he's trying to do that too, coming out of turn 3-4. Oh, but Blomqvist too cunning. He's right down on the low line of the track. He's not going to give John Pine any chance to come by him on the inside. Pine tries to come up on the inside, but there'll be no way through. Blomqvist will just block that way off completely. He won't let Pine through on the inside. Not a chance. He'll hug that low line all the way around the track. And Charlie Schwartz, tucked up behind John Pine, is picking up that extra point. Ron Pine was in there just for the sake of making up the numbers. Coming down with 1 more lap to go. Come on, Aussies. Let's see if we can get John Pine home. Scott Blomqvist, John Pine, and then Charlie Schwartz. Oh, here's Charlie Schwartz getting up on the inside of John Pine. Blomqvist is not going to get off that low line. Have no worries about that. He'll just hug it all the way. And Scott Blomqvist, hugging the low line, wins the race. Blomqvist is first. John Pine hang on for second. And Charlie Schwartz charged at him for third. And a time of 1 minute 2.380. So a 4-point heat for the Americans and a 2-point heat for the Australians. USA 4, Scott Blomqvist 3 points. Australia 9, John Pine 2 points. And USA 2, Charlie Schwartz 1 point. Ron Pine, Australia 3, failed to score. 4-2 to the Americans, and now, with 3 heats to go, the scores are back to level. Australia 27, the United States 27. And that was a new 4-lap record of 1 minute 2.380, a new record to Scott Blomqvist. And he looked to be doing it so easily, just hugging that low line and saving all the ground. Now John Soares is out and he's back. John Pine is out onto the track. 1 car set and ready to go for heat 10. 3 heats left in our test match. No movement from anywhere else. Let's have a look. Here comes Don McEwen coming out for Australia. So he's going to take Bob Brewer's place. Brewer's obviously got a problem. And Don McEwen coming out. So they're the 2 Aussies, John Pine and Don McEwen. No Americans on the track. And now the steward is calling for 2 minutes to be placed on the American team. One car rolling. It's the 4 car of Scott Blomqvist. He's supposed to come out in this heat, the new record holder. And they're substituting Clint Smith by the looks of things. We'll just wait for confirmation. The Clint Smith car is rolling. Yep, out he comes. So USA 1 is replaced by USA 3. John Pine, position 1. Clint Smith, position 2. Scott Blomqvist, position 3. And Don McEwen, position 4. Now, will the deadlock be broken? And who will be the team that breaks it? John Pine, a lot of pressure on him on the pole position, with Clint Smith ready to come charging into main straight. Here they come, Smith backed off, no start. 2 car lengths between them. Blomqvist got up on the inside of Pine. Probably a little bit of tactic there too, just to let Pine know that he was ready to pounce. Pine, Smith. There's a start. Pine got away well. Clint Smith's going to tuck in behind. Blomqvist again just hugging that low line and really hugging it. Maybe he might have, well, how can you have a problem when you set a new 4-lap record? He's just hugging the low line. John Pine the leader, followed by Clint Smith. Then comes Scott Blomqvist, so it's a 3-all. The pressure is on John Pine. He's doing it well at the moment. John Pine, followed by Clint Smith and Scott Blomqvist, and Don McEwen's tailed right off. I think the Aussies have got more problems than the Yanks at the moment. Brewer's car's in trouble. Ron Pine's car's not running well, nor is Don McEwen's. John Pine's doing a lone act here. John Pine coming out of turn 4, got a little untidy, and that allowed Clint Smith to get a little bit closer. Scott Blomqvist is running 3rd. This might be a dead heat, this test match. The Americans are just going to lock things up, I would reckon, until they get to the last heat. We'll see what happens. The last heat could decide it all again. Australia 9, John Pine is 1st. USA 3, Clint Smith 2nd. USA 4, Scott Blomqvist 3rd. And Australia 18, Don McEwen was 4th. Look at this time. John Pine has smashed the record again. 1 minute 1.696. So we've got Clint Smith coming around. And Clint Smith on the track at the moment. So we have a situation on our scoreboard where Australia 9, John Pine scored 3 points. USA 3, Clint Smith scored 2 points. And USA 4, Scott Blomqvist scored 1 point. A new track record for 4 laps of 1 minute 1.696. It was a 3-all situation, and so still both teams locked together and only 2 heats to go. USA 30, Australia 30. USA 3, Clint Smith is coming out. Well, it looks like he's coming out, and so too is USA 2, Charlie Schwartz. So Bob Brewer set. Here's Clint Smith on the track. Here's the other American, Charlie Schwartz, coming out to substitute for John Soares. Bob Brewer in position 1. I think. We'll have to wait and see. I just lost track from the previous race. He'll be in 2, will he, Joel? I think he will. John Pine, hasn't he been doing a fantastic job for the Australians tonight? Shouldered a lot of responsibility, Captain Australia. And he's out there and ready to run as a substitute for Don McEwen. And away they go in the second last heat of the Complete Fuel Supplies Test match. It's a 3-all on the track at the moment. Still no doubt. Oh, here's Bob Brewer, lost it. And Clint Smith got up on the inside. That gives the Americans the break they wanted. Can they hang on to it? Charlie Schwartz, John Pine, and that 1 point that, oh, and Bob Brewer's gone for the spin. He'll stay there and we'll have a single file restart, I would reckon. There's the red light, but Brewer has got problems with the car. It's not handling. Single file restart, and Clint Smith could virtually win the test match here, depending on the last heat. But if he hangs on to third place, he gives the Americans a 2-point lead, and they would only have to have a car win the last race to wrap up the test. What a close series it's been. Now, Soares is complaining about Brewer and saying that's the second time he's done that, and the steward is aware, which is why he's having single file restarts, that it is unfair to the rest of the drivers, but the whole field comes back to the car that dipped out. And Soares is not a happy little chappy at the moment. And the steward is pointing out that, yes, the only way he can compensate for that is for a single file restart, which I think is probably the fairest way of doing it. It's a controversial situation. I mean, the guy who gets into trouble and has the spin comes back to the rest of the field. No comment. Okay. But apparently the complaint from John Soares was John Pine using the infield.
You got to be kidding.
Well, that was the complaint apparently.
You've got to be kidding.
So we're back to Charlie Schwartz having the race lead. Away they go. Schwartz from John Pine. Now John Pine has got to really split this up because Brewer's car's not handling well enough to do anything at the moment. I think the responsibility really lies with John Pine. He's the ham in the American sandwich at the moment. Charlie Schwartz the lead. Oh, John Pine hit the wall. He hit the wall. He carried up on the inside of Schwartz. He goes. He's trying everything, John Pine. Coming down main straight away. Charlie Schwartz, the leader from John Pine, who is absolutely trying his heart out. He's getting up on the inside of Charlie Schwartz. Schwartz is the leader. Pine in second place. Schwartz has still got him covered. Oh, but John Pine is really throwing everything at it. What a gutsy performance this is by the Aussie captain. But Charlie Schwartz hangs on. Schwartz is first. John Pine is second. Then comes the American Clint Smith, and that's the all-important point that could win this test match. So on the scoreboard, USA 2, Charlie Schwartz scores 3 points. Australia 9, John Pine 2 points. And USA 3, Clint Smith scored 1 point. So it was 4 to the Americans and 2 to the Australians. So the Americans grabbed the lead in the series with 1 heat to go. USA 34 leading Australia 32. Now the 2 Americans out, the 2 of Charlie Schwartz and the 4 of Scott Blomqvist. If an American driver wins this race, the Americans win the test match. The Australian fans have really got to cheer. Out comes Rev and Ronnie Pine. And out comes Don McEwen. McEwen substituting for John Pine. Oh boy, John Pine must have a problem. He was supposed to be out in this heat. but there's a problem with the car. Looks like the right-hand front. (18) Don McEwen, and 2 Charlie Schwartz, 4 Scott Blomqvist, and 3 Ron Pine. Good order.
I don't think it doesn't matter who wins, Ross. I think speedway racing in general is the winner tonight,
Yeah,
especially teams racing.
Super racing. It's been great.
Great test.
Gone right down to the wire, and it ain't over yet. 1 heat to go. That looks like a good start. Don McEwen. Now Ron Pine has got to do it. Don McEwen's got the lead. Now Ron Pine has to grab a point here to lock it all up. Can he grab the point? He's got to go for broke. He's got to throw. Oh, Don McEwen's going to sell out. Ron Pine's had to sell out. And on the inside, Scott Blomqvist got the lead away from Don McEwen. Clint Smith is coming up on the inside. Ron Pine got back on the racetrack and kept going. Don McEwen now the ham in the American sandwich, with Clint Smith coming up on the inside. Scott Blomqvist keeping it tucked tight and low. Don McEwen up high, and there's Charlie Schwartz going through on the inside. It's Charlie Schwartz, the other driver. The Americans look like they're going to really wrap it up in a big way. Scott Blomqvist and Charlie Schwartz, they fly the Stars and Stripes. Don McEwen and Ron Pine, they're running 3rd and 4th, but it's going to be a big win to the United States. USA 4, Scott Blomqvist. USA 2, Charlie Schwartz. Australia 18, Don McEwen. And Australia 3, Ron Pine. 1 minute 2.764, and with a 5-1 to America in the last heat, it was a 6-point win to the Americans. USA 39 and Australia 33.
Well, what a great test match it's been. The Americans taking out the final test match 39 to 33. It's been a determined effort by them to come back from 2-0 in the series and take this 3rd test match, doing their lap of honour. Bad luck to Australia. They gave their all. That's all you can ask for them. And they shouldn't be too disappointed with the way they've gone on. John Pine top scoring for the Australians with 15 points tonight. Second top scorer was Bob Brewer, who finished with 10 points. Then was Don McEwen, who finished with 5 points, and Ron Pine finishing with 3 points for the night. And for the American team, 17 points for Blomqvist. Clint Smith, he scored 5 points. Charlie Schwartz, John Soares picked up 4 points, and Charlie Schwartz, the other driver for America, picked up 14 points. But as I said, I think test match racing was the winner in general here tonight. It went right down to the wire, but we'll go down to trackside with Ross Allen.
Thanks very much, Charlie. Americans doing a reverse victory lap here. And this is Charlie Schwartz proudly flying the Stars and Stripes here tonight. He's very happy with the American victory. John Pine coming over. I don't think the Aussies are going to be disgraced. They still need a bit of support, even though they've lost the test match tonight. And here's a guy who shouldered a lot of that responsibility. John, things went sour with the cars in those last few heats. Can you paint the picture for the fans there? Don McEwen with problems, Ronnie with problems, and Bob Brewer with problems. What was the story?
Well, I tried my best, Ross, and we give it our best shot. And, you know, like as I said, things can go wrong with other guys' cars. Same as me last week. I lost a little, but we picked it up at the end. And I think what they missed was chasing the track. Track went away, so did their cars. And it's experience. You see what the Yanks do. They're used to that sort of thing. And, you know, I think that we picked the right things with our car. It was still super fast at the end.
Okay, what was wrong with the last heat? We saw some work going on with that car there. You were scheduled to come out. Was there a problem?
Just a chassis change, Ross. I think that's the thing. You've got to change the car to the track. Right. And that's where you miss the plot if you don't do it. And I think our car was quick all night. and we done the best what we had with, and I think we broke the 4-lapper. I think that's quite an achievement on its own.
Yeah, John Pine, the new 4-lap record holder. Some other disappointed guys in the Australian team. We'll get the American team over here in just a moment. John, it was a super test match, as Joel and I pointed out. Probably Speedway the winner tonight, because well, look at the scoreboard. Australia jump away to a 6-point lead, and America end up winning by 6 points. I mean, anything can happen in sedan racing, can't it?
Yeah, Sawsey put the spook on us. And but the thing is, Ross, as you say, the Speedway, like what you say, it benefited tonight because it was still close. There were still hard-fought battles out there, and it showed teams racing, and that's what it's all about.
Okay, we'll get with your guys there. They're on the back of the ute. Here are the Americans doing their lap of honour, ladies and gentlemen. They've saved face tonight. It was going to be a 3-0 whitewash, but have a look at them. They're flying the American flags. They're happy boys tonight. The stars and stripes are flying brightly, but don't forget about the Aussies. It's Australia Day, and they did their best. John Pine, Ron Pine, Bob Brewer and Don McEwen, they tried their hardest on Australia Day, but it just wasn't good enough. The Americans came away with the prize, and they're very happy. We'll get to have a chat with them in just a moment. But when it comes to this coming Saturday night, there's going to be an open challenge. There'll be no teams racing on Saturday night. The 4 American cars will be here. Mark Claude and one of the other American drivers, his name just escapes me at the moment, but they will be here to take on a whole batch of Australians, not only these 4 cars, but a whole batch of other cars as well, in open challenge racing here on Saturday night. So you won't want to miss that one. As the Americans do their lap of honour, they'll come back round here. We'll have a chat with, I guess, what's going to be a very excited group of Americans and some disappointed Australians, because nobody likes the taste of defeat. The taste of victory is always sweet, but the taste of defeat can be a little sour, particularly on Australia Day. So the Americans coming back into our presentation area. We'll have a chat with the American captain and the rest of the guys. What a performance they've put up tonight, and the stars and stripes are flying proudly as John Sawrey steps from the back. John, congratulations, a victory.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a hard tour, and we had to come back here and win, and it didn't look like we were going to succeed with that situation, but the boys hung in tough, which we're used to doing, and just never give up.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, you look at the scoreboard, when we said at half-time, an Australian lead of 6 points, an American win of 6 points. Speedway racing, it's something, isn't it?
Well, there's nothing more exciting than speedway racing, and I've been in it all my life, and it's got to be some kind of disease to drive, but there's no way to explain it, and there's no way to explain winning and losing. Winning's everything and losing sucks.
Okay, Charlie Schwartz, another happy guy. That victory was damn important to you guys.
Well, we lost the first 2 here, and then we went on up the coast and everything, and we won every one we won. The only 2 we lost on the whole tour was here at Newcastle. And, you know, we were wanting to win here really bad, and at one point there we began to think that we weren't going to win, but last, you know, we pulled it off right there at the last, and kind of lucky, I'll have to admit that.
No, it was a great win. Clint Smith, we'll just have a chat with you, Clint. Congratulations, that was a real gutsy performance to come from behind a 6-point deficit to turn it into a 6-point win.
Yeah, they was running super good tonight, probably better than they run the first 2 nights. But we had enough power and enough cars to beat them at the end, and that gave us 7 in a row. I hope they can keep it going for us.
Clint, I think the turning point was probably that 1 point that you picked up in around about Heat 8 or Heat 9, somewhere there getting towards the end of that test match, which gave the Americans the opportunity to jump to that lead or at least to level the score. I'm just not quite sure which heat it was, but that 1-pointer was an important one.
Yeah, my car was a little off, and I'm just trying to make sure I didn't run in a no-point position. And I knew then if I could just get by them 2 cars, both of them heats, that I could bring the American team closer to winning. And then that last heat, I give us the lead by running 3rd. And Charlie and Scott running super good. John had trouble with his. But then at the last heat, Charlie and John really pulled it off. I mean, Charlie and Scott pulled it off for us. And I'm looking forward to maybe coming back next year and doing it again.
Yeah, we'd like to see that because we've been very impressed with your form.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, and wrap it up. We'll have a chat with Scott Bloomquist. For a moment there, you did have the new 4-lap record and you were just hugging that pole line all the way.
Yeah, you know, we had to race a lot more like a team tonight, the way the track was. You know, normally you could just get out there and there was 2 grooves on the track the other times that we were here. And tonight you had to hug the bottom a lot. And, you know, so you could really help your partner quite a bit by, especially when you're on the pole. But, you know, we had a good run tonight. We're looking forward to coming back.
Yeah, I'd like to see you back again. Congratulations, Scott.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Americans have wrapped it up. What about some of the other Aussies? Ron Pine, you might come over and just tell us some of the problems that existed with the car. Tried your hardest, but things were not going your way tonight.
No, we've got our share of problems. Too many race meetings with my family, I think, in go-karts, and myself racing. It's just a lot of time spent on the car. Early in the season, I probably neglected it a little bit of late. Both my son and daughter race go-karts at the moment. Takes a lot of my time up. John had that problem 2 years ago, and he backed off on Speedway. I think I'm going to have to do one or the other, pretty serious.
Okay, congratulations for a big effort tonight. Don McEwen, come on over, Don. Things weren't terribly happy with your car tonight too. There was a lot of concern. What was the problem?
Well, I hit the fence earlier in the night, and I think we fenced something pretty serious on the car, but we battled on and we was beaten by a better team.
Fair enough, but you gave it your best shot.
Yeah, go with my best shot. We'll fix it up and be back on Saturday night.
Yeah, that'll be looking forward to that one. And Bobby Brewer, I think, was Bob still there? No, he's made his way back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our test match. The guys have done their lap of honour. It's been a super series. Australia do win the test match series by 2 tests to 1, but the Americans have at least gone home with a test match win here at Newcastle under their belt, and that's something they definitely wanted to do. We'll see them all back again, except for Scott Bloomquist and Clint Smith on Saturday night. 2 other Americans will take their place, and it will be an open competition of racing. But we've got plenty of racing left on the card tonight, including what I think is going to be an absolutely super speed car feature. Speed car feature for Castrol sees 52 Steve Pollock, position 1, 74 Alan Day, position 2, 86 Adrian Marr, position 3, 5 John Church, position 4, Queensland 23 Barry Valentino, position 5, Victoria 3 Peter Gent, position 6, South Australia 17 Brett Squires, position 7, 0 Gavin Lear, position 8, USA 2 John Coffer, position 9, 75 Rod Bowen, position 10, 6 Terry King, position 11, New South Wales 17 Brett Morris, position 12, Victoria 33 Mark Brown, position 13, 97 Norm Jackson, position 14, 87 Jeff Bowie, position 15, 76 Don Mackay, position 16, 79 Gary Lanier, position 17, 40 Phil Chilton, position 18, and 18 Danny Hart, position 19. It's the field, and just about all the cars are pushed away for the speed car feature. 20 laps, half a dozen cars left to be fired up. So the pace car leaves the circuit. The next lap around we should see a start to our Castrol speed car feature. Great field, best field of speed cars we've seen here for some time. And the green lights are on, the green flag is waving. Oh, and a bit of a bump there early on too between Adrian Marr and John Church. Rod Bowen's in trouble. He's gone in the opening corner of the race, and we're going to have a red light. He might just ease his way off the track. Yes, he will. Bad luck for Rod Bowen. He has not been able to get it together at all tonight, and yet he was looking so impressive early on. So let's have a look back in the pack where the American might be situated at this stage. One car, Gavin Lear, going right round the outside, has moved up into 4th spot. The American's back in about 8th place at the moment, behind the Queenslander, Barry Valentino. Oh, gee, one car got into trouble, the number 5 car of John Church, and the Victorian Peter Gent threw sideways to miss him. And he has knocked himself out of the race. Gee, that's bad luck for Gent. Problem down here in turn 4 with the 79 of Gary Lanier, but Peter Gent surely should be allowed to go back in the race because he's been lucky that the race had to stop, but he threw sideways because the car in front of him, John Church, just stopped to nothing. So the cars have regrouped into single file, and there they go, coming down Main straight away. John Church on the inside. The American went very wide in that corner. He's up into 4th place. Gavin Lear is holding down 3rd place at the moment. They're the 2 cars I think we've got to keep an eye on. And is that a red glow or just the red rim of the car of Gavin Lear? It fools you sometimes when it hits that light. So it looks like it's glowing red. You think a breaker's running. Oh, beautiful pass on the in. Oh, no, he got a bump there with that other car. That was the American John Copper. John Church. Oh, there's John Copper getting a clout with the concrete wall this time. And he's in all sorts of problems. He was nice and smooth and Mr. Cool in the earlier races, but now he's had a bump with one car and had a connection with the concrete wall. So John Church the leader, but there's the American. John Copper rounding him up on the outside. John Church kicked back up on the inside. Copper now, what will he do? Will he try and come up on the inside again? No, he can't quite find the room there. And then Gavin Lear is running 3rd at the moment, followed by the 6 car of Terry King, then the Queenslander Barry Valentino. Still John Church is defying the American to run him down. John Copper, he's hanging on to 2nd place. Gavin Lear is running 3rd. He might be lucky, but at least he puts himself up into a winning position, and that's what car racing's all about. If you're ready to get the shot and try and get the lead, well, it gives you a great chance. John Church leading out, but under attack.
Church doing a great job too here tonight. He's driven very consistently around the Motordrome tonight, and he leads the way by no fluke. In 2nd place is the American Kofa. He's trying as hard as he can, going high, going low. He's searching for the pass, but Church holding a great steady line at mid-track, so he's going to make the American work for it. Now Gavin Lear coming on the inside of the American, but the American comes back down and chops him off. Kofa in 2nd place, 3rd place. Now the 4th place getter is starting to catch him amongst this battle for the top 3 places. Here comes the American though, up on the inside of Church. Church will fight back at him now on the inside. Great driving. Church got a little untidy and on the infield. The American now slips to the lead. Kofa, they start to come to a slower traffic. He uses the infield a bit as he comes out of turn 3-4, but now he's trying to pull away. 2nd place is Church in car number 5. He's under pressure. The number 6 car's come from out of nowhere. King has come from out of nowhere, and he is up into 3rd place, battling for 2nd place. There's only 8 laps to go. The American lead.
Hasn't Terry King made a super move? Look at the yellow car, number 6, putting the pressure right on John Church, and Terry King is just taking his time. He's worked his way through the pack. They've probably let the American John Copper slip right away from them, but just the same, Terry King moves through on the inside of John Church, and Terry King now grabs 2nd. John Church is running 3rd. Gavin Lear holding down 4th place. Let's have a look if Terry King can get any closer to the American. He certainly has driven a great race, and also we'll have a look to see whether Gavin Lear can get past John Church as they head down past the Coca-Cola timer. John Copper catching up to slower traffic with 5 more laps left to go. Yes, there's Gavin Lear getting through on the inside of John Church. So Gavin Lear now goes into 3rd place. John Church is back to 4th. The American, John Copper, catching up to the slower traffic. Terry King. He'll use this opportunity to work closer to him. He's about 35, 40 metres behind Copper at the moment. Copper now up to that slower traffic. Up on the outside of the slower cars he comes, but they're too wide, the slower cars. And that makes it very difficult for Copper to work his way through. Now he gets up on the inside, picks up one of those places. Terry King still in second place, but by gee, he's right within striking distance of Copper now, but I think he's going to run out of laps unless something will happen in this slower traffic. John Copper has the race lead. He'll get the white flag here. One more lap left to go. Now Terry King hooked right up in the slower traffic, and Gavin Lear has worked through on the inside of King, and Lear goes up into second place. King is back to third. Here comes the checkered flag, and John Copper has taken out the race. Second place has gone to Gavin Lear. Third is Terry King, and fourth place would go to the 5 of John Church, and then the Victoria 33 of Mark Brown. But a super win for John Copper, who takes the checkered flag, and the American adds to the success of the Sedan team tonight, and he scores victory in his first appearance at the Motordrome.
Good win to the American. Kofa, he'll be happy with that. United States 2, John Kofa, he takes out the feature for the speed cars. The Castrol Speed Car Classic over 20 laps. Good win to the American. He'll be no doubt very pleased with himself. Second place went to the Zero car of Gavin Lear, who had to fight to come through the field and did a great job to get up into second. King, who was in second place, got held up with the traffic, and Lear took that opportunity and slipped up into second place. He's finished second. Third place went to King in car number 6, and fourth place going to the number 5 car driven by John Church, who led for most of the race but couldn't quite hold it and take the race out. He finished fourth. Fifth place went to the 33 car, and that was a Victorian of Mark Brown, and a good drive by him. No time recorded because of the race stoppage. We'd like to thank all our interstate drivers for turning up at the Motordrome and putting on a great show. We've got some trophy presentations for the winners, and we'll go down trackside with Ross Allen.
Thanks, Joel. And third place tonight, we'll start at the bottom of the rung in our Castrol speed car feature. And what a great feature it was. We did predict that it was going to be a great race because these guys just turned up in numbers tonight, and there've been such quality numbers too. He's just about to climb out, just removing the steering wheel because they're pretty tight and cramped in these cockpits. But it was a super performance by Terry King. He's climbing out slowly but surely, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sure as he does you'll give him a big round of applause for finishing in third place. Terry, congratulations on finishing in third spot tonight. That was a terrific drive. I mean, you seem to be right back in the pack and just taking your time. I think you timed your run beautifully.
Well, that was the first race we've had in 12 months, and I was just sorting out how everyone else was getting the job done, you know.
Well, you've sorted it out pretty well because for a moment there you had second spot. You'd be really happy then if that's your first run for some time.
Yeah, I was very happy with the second spot. I'd like to thank Austral Engine Parts and Dominator Engine Reconditioning in Sydney for a fine effort on the engine. I'd like to thank my crew, Mark and Andrew and Matthew Young. Thanks very much.
Congratulations. Now, the second spot has gone to Gavin Lear. Where's that trophy? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the guy who considers himself lucky, but I reckon you've got to earn your luck, Gavin. You finished in second spot tonight. Another great race.
Yeah, John and I run first down in Canberra and he got second, so we swapped tonight.
Swapped around. It was that traffic that sort of helped you get past Terry in those last couple of laps.
Yeah, put it down to luck again. It was very close. I thought he might have come back down on me, but we got through.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's another American victory. They won the Super Sedan Test match. They've won the Speed Car feature. John Kofa from the United States. Give him a big welcome to Newcastle. Not only is it a welcome, John, but it's a congratulations on first place. Well done.
Yeah, well, thank you, and thanks for all the fans and everything that shows up and makes it all possible to run, you know.
Yeah, well, it's the first time we've seen you here. How long have you been in the country, John?
I think we've been in the country about 2.5 weeks now. And this is the 4th or 5th time in the car or something like that. So we're starting to get it figured out a little bit now, and it's going good.
Okay, and how long are you going to be campaigning here in Australia before you head back to the States?
We'll run the championship coming up this weekend, and then we head back and run the Copper Classic on the mile.
Okay, so you're going to be a busy sort of a guy. And I suppose you might have been watching from the sidelines tonight, were you, when your American teammates won the Super Sedan test here just a matter of minutes ago too. You would have been happy to see the stars and stripes flying.
Yeah, we were hoping we'd make it 2 in a row there and show them how to run this place, but worked out good.
It certainly did. Ladies and gentlemen, John Cofer, the other American who has taken out the speed car feature tonight. It's great to have him here, and what a super lineup of speed cars it was. So the Castrol feature goes to the American John Cofer. Now the Australian team drivers, I must tell everybody, Joel, have made their way over to the souvenir stand as well. So we've got the Aussies over there. Don McEwen's making his way up. A lot of the kids were asking if Don was coming over. Well, he's making his way over there now. But we've still got a couple of races left on the card.
Yes, we certainly have. Street stocks are out for their feature race of the night. Event 12 shown on your program. French Brothers Tyres sponsored Street Stock Sedan feature, and it'll be over 10 laps. 12 laps shown in your program, but it'll be actually over 10 laps. And a big field out there too. Steve West on pole position, and Bruce Johnson, one of the earlier heat winners, on pole position too. Gerard Green's out there in car number 5 along with Phil Moore. Peter Hopwood, Mark Stewart. A few fans urging on the street stockers. That's the way. Get behind them. They've provided us with some great racing here at the Motordrome this season, and no doubt this will be no exception. But a good, strong, big field out there for these super sedans.
Plus,
a few brain cells missing towards the end of the night. Of course, the street stockers out on the track. 10 laps, yellow lights flashing. Good organised slow start too, and the green flag drops. I don't think Johnson was expecting it. Phil Moore from the second row of the grid came very quickly around the outside, but he got trapped up high, and Gerard Green came out. Oh, Gerard Green's carted Johnson up into the wall. Johnson's coming back down. Bang, there goes Nathan Reed. And a couple other cars scrambling, but they've missed him. And a bit of trouble for the street stocks. And well, that'll bring the race to a stoppage. And the black flag coming out to someone.
Yeah, Gerard Green moving up on car 32, which put car 32 out of the action. So 5, Gerard Green is being given the black flag. And the rest of the pack starting to pick up their grid positions. Bruce Johnson coming back into the field. A complete restart, I would imagine it would be. There were no laps scored going into the back straight away.
Yellow lights flash now, ready for the starty. Away they go. West was the one who got the better of the start on the inside. Johnson tries to go on the outside with him too, and has got the power, but it's Steve West who takes up the running. Bill Moore comes through on the inside along with Stewart too. They've got underneath Johnson, who drifted high and stayed up high and left that bottom line open to get through underneath, and that's exactly what Phil Moore's done, and also Peter Hopwood. And here comes Murray through the field, shouldering his way through. He says, get out of the road, I want to come through. And up high, he got a bit untidy and went towards the fence and dropped back a bit and allowed Gary Morris to move into 4th place. But here comes Hopwood. He could, Hopwood up on 2 wheels, Dukes of Hazzard style. There goes West on the infield, so it's hairy, scary all over the place here with only 9 laps to go. Bill Moore race is the race leader. 2nd place is Hopwood in car number 70. Then comes Gary Morris, who's got clear of that pack, just in front of Murray in the 43 in 4th place. And then a wall of drivers led by Jared Cerrone in car number 43. Then comes Steve West in the 34. But out in front, these top 4 drivers are cleared away. The interesting battle in the back of the pack is Jared Cerrone in the 31 and Steve West, and a wall of drivers headed by Johnson, who was up at the front of the race at the start, and he's dropping right back now with the 46 car of Bennett going underneath him. 6 to go for the race leader, Phil Moore. They're pretty pedestrian up front, no moves at the moment. Hopwood in 2nd place, then comes Morris in the 26, followed by the 43 of Murray. Then that long gap back to the 31 of Jared Cerrone, followed by Steve West in the 34. But there's only 5 to go and Phil Moore leads. Yeah, but Peter Hopwood's right behind, and I think he'll really make a go of it too over these last few laps.
Gary Morris not out of it either, and then Ken Murray determined to make up for his pretty ordinary old start tonight, which he's been doing pretty well. Then he got into that mechanical problem, so they've fixed that up A-OK. So Phil Moore's still the leader, but Peter Hopwood is the guy who's issuing the challenge. He is right behind. Gary Morris starting to make up some ground as well, and Ken Murray still not out of this car race. We've got to keep our eye on the top 4 because there are only 3 laps left to go. Here's Hopwood trying to come through on the inside of Phil Moore. He can't quite make it. Now he gets a little bit of space to move. The gap seemed to open up a little bit, but it wasn't enough. Phil Moore is still there, followed by Peter Hopwood, then Gary Morris. Morris is getting closer. He realises there's only 2 more laps left to go. Phil Moore out very, very wide, but he's got the power. Hopwood trying to keep it down tight and low. Here he is getting a bit of a move. Gary Morris also trying to cut corners. He lost a bit of ground when he got up on the windrow. Peter Hopwood pushes up on the inside of Phil Moore. He grabs the lead away. Hopwood the leader. Morris tries to come through on the inside of Moore, who's getting untidy. He's really starting to lose his cool. Out wide goes Phil Moore. Morris is going to come up on the inside of him and grab second place away. But Peter Hopwood grabbed the lead as they come into main straight away to take the checker, and Peter Hopwood wins the race in car number 70. Gary Morris came through for second. Phil Moore dropped back to third. Ken Murray was right behind him for 4th place. A long gap back then to Bennett, followed by Jared Cerrone. Then came Rod Ether. The next car through was Mark Stewart, followed by Shane Carlson, Steve West and Jason Owen. 3 minutes 6.476. So the chief steward is just informing me that car number 70 goes back 1 position. He doesn't get the checkered flag. So it'll be 26, Gary Morris first, and 70, Peter Hopwood second, with 4, Phil Moore third. Repeating the time, 3 minutes 6.476. So, ladies and gentlemen, that completes our program for tonight. We did have down a stock car race, but we brought that forward when we made our track preparations at the interval break. So we thank you for your cooperation tonight. We hope you've enjoyed our complete fuel supplies, USA versus Australia 3rd test match with the Americans winning by that 6-point margin. Look forward to your company on Saturday night when we have the International Super Sedan Challenge. On behalf of tonight's sponsors, Complete Fuel Supplies, and the promotion of the Winfield Newcastle Motordrome, Ross Allen and Joel Allen wishing you all a very good night.